Here is Mr. Rakesh Shetty's email to us. What is dynamic range? What is dynamic range when it comes to loudspeaker? Mr. Rakesh Shetty from Mysore. You asked us an amazing question. This question is probably never even thought of by most of the people. To answer this question, let's get into a graph. Here is a graph. Looks like it explains everything all by itself. Now on the x-axis, we have different kinds of sounds. On the y-axis, we have the loudness level. Silent forest, footsteps of human beings, speech, little louder, bullet shot, a little louder, an explosion, really loud. So not all the sounds that we listen to every day are at the same level. Some of them are very low, some of them are very high, some of them occupy this entire gray space in between them. Some sounds are sometimes even inaudible. For example, when an ant is screeching, you wouldn't be able to hear it at all. It is so low that it is below probably 20 decibels. Let's get into another graph which actually specifies what dynamic range should actually be. We have a graph where 0 dB, 0 dBu represents the nominal line level recommended volume level by the mixing engineer. When a mixing engineer is making a music or mixing a music, he would be thinking, okay, my listener who is sitting in such and such a position in such and such a place with that kind of audio equipment, when he is listening, he will listen to it at this volume level, and this is how he would listen to. He would have so many variables that is being eliminated. He would fix certain assumptions, and based on it, he'll start mixing. That level of sound is called as nominal line level. You have what is called as a foot room. Foot room is the lowermost level of the loudness which a human being can generally hear. Anything below it, below the foot room, is the noise floor, which pretty much tends to be inaudible. If this noise, you might have seen sometimes even in our own video, we have certain videos published where the noise floor is really high. We have done that on purpose to show that the noise floor or the audio equipments have a built-in static in them, and they create some hissing noise in the audio. Of late, you must have seen the audio quality has improved, and we have done that also purposefully to demonstrate the difference between a high noise floor recording and reproduction and a low noise floor recording and reproduction. You can just go back to our initial few videos, rewatch that. You will get the high noise floor videos, and this has low noise floor. In a typical high quality recording studio, we'll have the noise floor to be set very low. We'll have a foot room, and we'll have the headroom. Anything above it is distortion range. We'll go to distortion range in a little while. Foot room is a band. It is like a gutter, and the headroom is like a gutter. When you are printing a paper, you would leave gutter space on all four sides, right? Gutter space on top and the bottom and left and right. This is exactly the foot room and headroom. That is the place where your equipments and the mixer will have ability to reproduce that sound levels, but you will not utilize it on the nominal recording level. You would record it at the nominal level. Some of the sound that has been recorded will sound low. Some of them will sound high. Some of them will go above the nominal line level. Some of them will come to the dynamic range, and sometimes some of them might come to the foot room as well. For example, the rustling of leaves in certain tensed condition, they fall very close to the foot room range when you are watching a movie, and somebody is walking behind you, somebody knocks the door from a distant region, somebody is giving a shout out to the lead character from a very distant location. All those come in the lower part of the dynamic range. Somebody is whispering in the romantic scene, somebody is whispering in the ears, and that falls in the lower dynamic range. When the normal conversation dialogue happens, that come in the upper dynamic range, and when there is a peak action sequence, we reach the nominal line level range, and when there is an explosion or when there is a massive thunder or some kind of like animal attack and all those stuff, they go in the upper headroom. Clipping point. Clipping point is something that a very good sound engineer would try to avoid when recording. So what he does is he sees which all recordings are already reaching the clipping point, and he reduces it to some a proper dynamic headroom. So when we are speaking about dynamic range, the sound engineer has put so much effort in ensuring that when the movie is being watched, the viewer experiences the sound levels and quality, and actually the live feel of that sound, starting from the foot room all the way till the headroom. He ensures that you have experiences of everything from this range to that range. For example, if he doesn't do that, he is not a good sound engineer. You must have watched certain songs, okay? In certain songs, what happens? The singer is singing very smooth and mellow, and all of a sudden he shouts. The way he sings very smooth, he goes down in the volume, and his volume becomes very soft, like whispering. And suddenly there is an explosion. The recording engineer doesn't foresee through it. The whispering, shouting, crying, explosion of the nuclear bomb, and rustling of the leaves in the garden, everything will sound in the same flat level. This is one where the production of the music happens in this way. When it comes to the reproduction, if you have some kind of what um, a lifestyle product which is not meant for audio grade equipment utilization, they also do not have a very good quality dynamic range for reproduction of the music. What happens is this foot room will go raise up for them and the headroom will fall down. So you will have a very narrow band that it can actually accommodate. So using the DSP, they reduce all the volume, they compress all the loud sounds into uh, lesser volume, and they will amplify the lower volume sound into to sound little louder. So that way, the original recording has the very good dynamics, but when it is getting reproduced through your equipment, that dynamic range is getting reduced through the digital signal processing. That is again unwanted. We don't want that to happen. As a sound engineer, a recording engineer who knows what he's doing, he doesn't want that to happen. So when you listen to some average mix, like you're watching some serial in the TV, you're watching some news program, you need a very narrow band of headroom, dynamic range, and nominal level. You just need it to be in the narrow band. But when you're watching a movie in which you need an immersive experience, you need a large dynamic range, including the headroom and footroom. That is possible only with a professional grade or a hi-fi grade audio equipment, and you cannot get that using a soundbar or a multimedia system. And if the recording engineer doesn't do a good job, he will have a lesser headroom, and most of his audio will be clipping. You know what is clipping? When somebody is shouting into the mic, let me show you what clipping is. Did you hear that rattling in your ear? That is clipping. If the recording engineer has not used the right kind of clip eliminating DSP, uh, clipping eliminating DSP, or if it doesn't place the mics that are recording in the right direction, if it doesn't set the uh, what gain in the microphones appropriately, you will have clipping at the recording source. At the reproduction source, which is the equipment that you have at your home, where uh, the components that have been used inside it, they are not at good quality. The DSP that has been used inside it is not of a good quality, or you personally have cranked up the bass knob and treble knob and mid knob and everything without understanding its value. You would hear clipping in all the frequency ranges. Everything goes out into the clipping region. We will do what is clipping on another day, because I have a question from somebody which says, give us a little bit insight about clipping. We will try to do that video some other time, because I need to collect certain data points to demonstrate it to you. So this is what dynamic range is all about. This is the maximum dynamic range that an audio engineer tries to accommodate within his recording. And since that audio engineer recorded it this way, he would be assuming that you would utilize this entire dynamic range in your reproduction equipment. In a nominal range, the effective dynamic range remains here, because in a very rare circumstances, the uh, foot room will be utilized and the headroom will be utilized. Never will the clipping point be crossed, and distortion region will be utilized by any sound engineer who can be called as a sound engineer. Never will there be any sound that is recorded in noise floor, because you won't even be able to hear it. It's like telling you wouldn't be able to hear anything, because that was below the noise floor. And we have signal to noise ratio. This is the noise. Okay, this is the noise. Let's say this is unit 1. The signal will come all the way till here, nominal line level. If this is 1, what is this ratio? If this is 1 decibel, and this from starting from here to here, if it is 1 decibel starting from here till here, if it is 90 decibel, and if your system is able to reach this level at this particular volume, then you have the signal to noise ratio. When you are buying an amplifier, please have a look at the signal to noise ratio. If the signal to noise ratio is anything about 98 and 99, then you are buying a good equipment. If it is below 90, you are buying a below average equipment. That is that is just made for lifestyle and not for audio purpose. This signal to noise ratio is really important when you are buying any equipment, especially the amplifiers, preamplifiers, and the DSPs, the DAC, digital to analog converters. All these points in your signal path, they impact a lot in the terms of signal to noise ratio. So I think I have covered most of the points related to the dynamic range. So Shetty ji, since you are in Mysore, if you ever happen to come to Bangalore, please visit us. You might get an understanding of all your other doubts as well by watching, listening, and getting an explanation from us directly in our experience center and our studio. We are located in Jayanagar 9th block, Bangalore. And thank you for writing to us. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and share our videos within your circle. Of course, knowledge is free. This is free. You can share this with everybody. Let's open the eyes of people who are getting cheated in the name of lifestyle product. Of course, lifestyle product is supposed to be there, but not at the cost of giving the real audio experience. Maybe even they will up their benchmarks sometime. Um, please do share this video with everyone that is in your circle. Let this free knowledge be shared with everybody. And thank you very much. We'll meet again.